Prague. The city of 100 spires. So lovely, so elegant, so filled with history. It is by far one of the most beautiful cities in Europe, actually the entire world. Each year, 6.2 million visitors come to Prague. The United Nations has rightly listed it as a World Heritage Site. The city is a fulfillment of an ancient prophecy. Legend says a Bohemian princess had a vision. She foresaw a great city on the cliffs overlooking the Vltava River. She predicted a city whose glory would touch the stars. Prague has definitely touched the hearts of visitors from all over the world. After London, Paris, Rome, and Istanbul, it is the 5th most visited city in Europe. The most prominent site in Prague is the castle, built right where the princess had envisioned it. From the 9th century, it was the seat of power for the kings of Bohemia and the Holy Roman Empire. The area later became part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. After World War I, it became Czechoslovakia. In 1993, the citizens of Czechoslovakia voted to divide the country into the Czech Republic, with its capital Prague, and Slovakia. The first building in the castle complex was a church dedicated to the Virgin Mary. There are 2 other churches in the complex, the Basilica of St George and the Cathedral of St Vitus, seat of the Roman Catholic Archbishop of Prague. Construction of the cathedral began in 1344, but it wasn't completed until 1929. In 1997, the names of 2 other saints who've played a role in the history of the country were added. It's now officially the Cathedral of St. Vitus, St. Wenceslaus, and St. Adalbert. The cathedral is where generations of kings and emperors were crowned. It's also the final resting place of the most famous Czech in history, King Wenceslaus, who reigned from 907 to 935. He's also a saint, immortalized in a Christmas carol, which tells the story of good King Wenceslaus braving a harsh winter storm to take alms to the poor on the feast of St. Stephen. Access to the crown jewels is through the Wenceslaus Chapel, which are only put on display once every 8 years. Another prominent tomb in the cathedral is that of the martyred St. John Nepomuk. He refused to violate the seal of confession when the king demanded that he reveal what the queen had told him. The enraged king ordered the bishop to be thrown from the Charles Bridge. His tomb is said to be covered by over 1 ton of silver. Some visitors today rub a brass plaque onto the statue of St. John on the bridge as an act of piety. Getting up and down from the castle is physically demanding. Fortunately, the number 22 tram will get you there. Admission to the grounds is free, but you'll need to purchase a ticket to be able to enter many of the sites. The elected Czech president lives in the castle complex. That means security. Guards change every hour. The main changing of the guard occurs at noon at the castle's main gate. There's lots to see, including an area called the Golden Lane, originally housing for palace servants, later for artisans, including goldsmiths. In the early 20th century, author Franz Kafka lived at number 22. Today it's a bookstore. The castle ramparts offer spectacular views of the city and the river below. It's a view that has changed little for hundreds of years. One of the charms of Prague is that so much of it can be explored on foot. The pedestrian-only Charles Bridge has spanned the river since King Charles IV commissioned it in 1357. It connects the castle side of the river to the Old Town. The Old Town Square is a must-see destination. There's been a market here since the 11th century. The town hall, with its famous astronomical clock, was built in the 13th century. The focal point of the square is the twin-spired Teen Church, also built in the 13th century. The church was the seat of power for a Christian sect called the Hussites, a a forerunner of Protestantism. Their leader was a reformer named Jan Hus. In 1450, he was burned at the stake for heresy against the Roman Catholic Church. A statue of Hus and his followers stands in the square. The architecture in the square, including St. Nicholas Cathedral, is stunning, and it's a great place to watch people. Buskers entertain the crowd. Food vendors are on hand, and the atmosphere is fun and festive. The newer parts of Prague, the Old Jewish Quarter, and the Riverwalk complete the package. Prague is a magical city, justly proud of its past and confident about its present and its future.